So today I want to talk about how and why we slowly check out. First, I want to say that checking out to me means disconnecting from life, disconnecting from self. And I don't think that we wake up one day and consciously decide to check out. I don't think it's a conscious choice. I think that it happens so gradually that so many of us don't even realize that it's happening. I believe that we are born perfect. We are pure. We are a clean slate. And then eventually we become conditioned. So we go through different experiences. We all have different types of conditioning, which can include family, school, society, different cultures. Sometimes we go through trauma, which can shape our beliefs about ourselves and the world. And this can also lead to different expectations. This is how we become conditioned. Every time we're conditioned, it's like adding a layer of separation between life as we experience it and that connection to self. So we slowly learn a conditioned version of who we think we are and who we believe that we need to become. So we begin searching outside of ourselves, looking for peace, happiness, success. We search for approval in any way we can. We try to acquire status. So we begin looking outside of ourselves for what can only be found within. We continue to become identified. We identify less with self and more with thoughts, emotions, roles, and stories of the body, this life story that I'm living. And that causes us to check out and distance from the self. So we slowly mistake what we experience for who we are. We start to believe that because I think this way, it must be true, or because I feel this way, it's who I am. We spend our lives becoming, always chasing the next best thing, feeling like life is never enough, like we're never good enough, or believing I'll start living when this happens. We become so busy becoming someone that we lose touch with what we already are, that perfect peace, that self beneath all of this. So many of us are literally checked out through alcohol, drugs, gambling, food. Some people are addicted to shopping or social media. Some people escape through work, staying busy, or that constant stimulation. And the more disconnected we become, the more we search outside of ourselves or distract ourselves, trying to escape what we're experiencing within, trying to escape and avoid life rather than living and being fully present and aware in it. So the longer term result of being checked out, of disconnecting from self, is a constant longing, yearning, or chasing after external happiness. For some people it's reactivity, stuck in autopilot, or repeating the same patterns and routines without even being consciously aware of it. Some people, it's a feeling like I'm never enough, or life is never enough. Some people question, how did I get here? Or why don't I feel like myself anymore? And the answer to that is because you're checked out. Disconnection from self. And the tragedy isn't only that we've checked out, it's that so many people spend years living this way without ever realizing that there is another way to live. And that happens through reconnecting to self, through checking in. And this is why it is so important that we are learning to continuously check in. Checking in is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering and returning to who we've always been beneath all of this conditioning. And it's not that difficult. It doesn't take much time. The practice of checking in is a simple pause, interrupting these automatic patterns, taking the time to turn inward, shifting our attention from the external world to our present internal experience. And as we do so, we create space through awareness. Take some time to become aware of what you're thinking, what emotions you're feeling, what are the stories I'm telling myself, what's the conditioning that's contributing to this. Awareness naturally creates space between you and what you're experiencing. Creating space allows for that identification to soften, so we reconnect with that deeper self that has always been present. So, very simply, it's a pause, turn inward, creating space through awareness, and reconnecting with self, remembering and returning to self. So we know the long-term consequences of living checked out, but what happens when we continuously check in? Well, we begin living more consistently from self, which is where we find true peace. As we continue living from self, we're living more consciously, which allows for that consciousness to expand. We experience ourselves, the world, and others around us differently. We can see clearly rather than through the lens of all of that previous conditioning. So every time we check in, something that was once unconscious becomes visible. Over time, our identification softens, our connection deepens, and our consciousness begins to evolve. We begin to awaken to our true being. So if you're watching this and you're starting to see that maybe you've been slowly checking out, I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with you. You've simply become disconnected from your true self. You've been living through this conditioning, identifying with it. But the beautiful thing is, what has been forgotten can be remembered. Checking in is that path back. It's the way to reconnect, the path to returning to self.